Today's topic is discipline, specifically self-discipline. If you've got 5 minutes, I've got 5 tips to help you become a more disciplined writer and therefore a more productive writer. Well, if you've been writing for a while, you've already figured out that writing is not like a 9-to-5 job. You don't punch a clock, you don't have a boss hanging over you, making sure that you're meeting deadlines and you're getting things done. So that if you don't get it done yourself, your project, your writing project, will never get finished. There is one characteristic that I've observed in all successful writers, that in their own way, they are all disciplined. And as Plato once said, the first and best discipline is to conquer self. So that important characteristic of all successful writers is in fact self-discipline. I've got a few tips to help you become a more disciplined writer and therefore a more productive writer. Tip number 1, set deadlines for yourself. I know there are an awful lot of people who don't like the word deadlines, and I've talked about deadlines before. But self-imposed deadlines are extremely important for writers and are very useful for you to get from one part of your project to another. And I'm not talking about the deadline, which is 1 year from now I will have my manuscript finished, but it would be the interim deadlines that you set for yourself. It may be on a weekly basis. It could even be on a daily basis, that by this time I will have this much accomplished, bit by bit. Unless you've already signed a contract with a publisher who has imposed a deadline on you that you have a certain period of time in which to produce the manuscript, then you're going to have to set those deadlines for yourself. Now, you are on your own to daydream or write texts or write fancy, fun things for Instagram or make videos of your cat for Instagram or TikTok. But by doing all of that, it's not going to get your writing finished. Your self-imposed deadlines can get you to the end of a project, but I would suggest that you take them seriously. Take them as seriously as you would a deadline imposed from outside. Tip number 2, create a schedule. Put it on your calendar, the days or the times that you are going to write, and put it in ink. Don't pencil yourself in. This is important. Putting things in on your calendar will help you to look to see what you have to do today. And if you know that between 10 and 11 a.m. you're going to write, or between 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. you're going to write, you look at your schedule for the day. If you have a Alexa or some other assistant in your home, put it on that calendar and get Alexa or Siri or whoever your calendar person is to tell you that that's what time you're supposed to write. Tip number 3 is develop some kind of a ritual to get you started. Most artists have some kind of a ritual, something that they do before they sit down to compose a piece of music, write, paint something, choreograph a piece. They have something that makes them realize the back of their mind that they're about to start doing whatever it is they do. For you as a writer to become self-disciplined, it would be very helpful to find some kind of a ritual. So every time you do it, it becomes associated with sitting down and writing. If you play the piano, you might want to sit down at the piano and play a particular piece. Play the guitar, play a particular piece of music that starts you off. Do some push-ups, do a little bit of yoga, a very specific yoga flow for 5 to 10 minutes that gets you, that this is the one that you do before you start writing. Rearrange your pens, rearrange your desk, do something every time before you begin to write, so that when you do that thing, you know writing is coming next. One of the things that I would suggest that you don't do is anything related to social media. Do not make that your ritual, because you will fall down that rabbit hole and you will never get started. Tip number 4 is set priorities. I suggest a simple 3-category system. The need to do, the nice to do, and the nuts to do. There are things in your life that you need to do. You need to go grocery shopping. You need to cook dinner. You need to pick the children up after school. You need to take them to their dance classes or their violin classes. Those are the things you need to do. There are things in your life that are nice to do. It's nice to spend 2 or 3 hours every evening watching Netflix. And then there are the nuts to do things. Things that really don't enhance your life in any way. Scrolling through Instagram for hours at a time comes immediately to mind. Reading through posts in Facebook writing groups immediately comes to mind. Those are the nuts to do things. And if you learn to use that system to set priorities, you immediately get rid of all the nuts to do things and you've freed up some time. Always remember to do the must-do things first. Once you get those out of the way and those priorities are out of the way, you can move into other important things like your writing. Tip number 5, avoid temptations that put you off course. I'm talking about things like taking telephone calls, texting people, long coffee breaks, all of those things that will put you off course. I suggest you put all of your equipment to silent. Be in the silent mode. Don't be interrupted when you're writing. You can't be disciplined with your writing if you're continually looking to see whether or not you have a text or there are pings coming on your computer or on your phone or on your iPad. Devote the time specifically to writing. You'll find you'll be much more productive. I think it's interesting to see what John Steinbeck had to say about this. Have a look. Abandon the idea that you're ever going to finish. Lose track of the 400 pages and write just 1 page for each day. It helps. When it gets finished, you are always surprised. And now it's time for all of us to get back to work. Happy writing. Subscribe to Write, Fix, Repeat, and maybe I can help you improve your writing knowledge and skills. 5 tips at a time.